Hi friends, welcome to another Sunnyside Design video. I am Michelle.
And I'm Steph, and this is week 5 of the One Room Challenge.
Here's a peek at the progress we've done so far. Of course, we did the shiplap wall week 2. We've got our lights installed and our shower, which I'm so glad is done, and I am so loving it. Love, love, love it. Tile's beautiful. And this week, week 5, we're going to show you how we installed this hexagon floor. So stay tuned. While grinding this crack down, we realized that this side of the cement was level and then past here is where it kind of dipped, and then there's a little bit of a swoop, and then we have a really long level, so we lined up the level on this side of the cement and then it touched over here, and so it shows a gap underneath the level right here. So even though we did spend the time grinding that, hoping that we wouldn't need to use self-leveling agents, we are going to do that just in this area right here. We have checked for level cement everywhere else in the bathroom, and that seems to be the only spot. So last night we put primer down on the concrete as per the instructions for the self-leveler, and next we're going to put some expandable foam along the edge of the tub and the wall. It's going to act as a little dam to keep the self-leveling cement from going where it doesn't need to be.
After pouring the self-leveling cement, you'll need to use the straight edge of a trowel to guide the cement to the low areas. From there, it will self-level as it dries. Once it was completely dry, we did use the grinder tool again to smooth the edges for a nice transition to the other cement. In addition to applying the self-leveling concrete, you may want to install a waterproofing membrane or underlayment for your tile floor. We opted to install it because it's supposed to help prevent tile from cracking, especially on a cement substrate. So we won't go into a full detailed tutorial on this video, but we just followed the directions that came with the Schluter Systems underlayment. We mixed up mortar. You'll also want to periodically lift up a corner of the underlayment to make sure that you have enough of the base product laid down. You can see that the orange piece I'm lifting up is not completely covered with this, and so I needed to go back in and apply a little bit more just so it had enough. Another important step prior to installing a hexagon bathroom floor tile is to plan the layout. Place the tiles over the underlayment and arrange in the desired pattern. In addition to planning the layout, you may want to dry fit the tiles over the entire surface area of the floor. In doing this, tiles should be evenly spaced, and you could also cut them to size beforehand if we wanted. We aligned our tiles to run parallel with the bathtub. So first we placed a tile flush with the tub, then we used a chalk line at the edge of the tile. And to prevent this chalk line from rubbing off the underlayment, we used a little bit of hairspray to keep it visible.
Alrighty friends, you are gonna get really used to learning from my mistakes here. We had some good progress on the floor yesterday. It's our first time doing it, okay? We are learning. So let me flip this around and show you what I'm going to talk about. We were using the same Mapei Type 1 tile adhesive that we used over here on the shower, which worked beautifully. And this morning when we came down to work, we're noticing when we're taking the spacers out that it is still wet. So I'm kind of freaking out. I called the company, and you know, if I was a smart girl, I would have read the label, and you're not supposed to use type 1 on this orange underlayment. So now we get to rip all this out, which kind of stinks. And we're gonna go to the store and buy the right product.
Guys, I just want to cry my eyeballs out. Look, it's just coming right up. Cry myself silly. Read your labels. Don't use this. My mistakes here. See, this works great in the shower, so I just thought, okay, yeah, we're gonna use it. I just made lots more work for us. We used a small putty knife to scrape off as much of this thin set as we could, and then we used a wet scrub brush and had to scrub multiple times to get this all out, and then we would use a towel to dab up the water in between, and we just repeated this till the underlayment was clean. After taking a day off, we began installing the Hexagon Bathroom Floor Tile again, using the correct thin set over the underlayment. Be sure to work in small sections at a time. You'll want to use the straight edge of the trowel and firmly press the thin set into the grooves of the underlayment. Then you'll apply a smooth layer of the thin set over the area and use the notched end of the trowel to remove the excess thin set. Line the first tile into position, and we used a laser level to periodically check that the tiles were straight. And go figure, it actually paid off to read the installation directions on the tile packaging. So rather than pressing the tiles into place with my hands, I used a scrap of wood and gently tamped the surface with a rubber mallet. Doing this, the tiles were pressed into the thin set more equally, resulting in a more unified and level surface. In spite of making mistakes, we did take the time to learn from them, and despite the fact that we had to start over, we did learn a few tips that made installing go more smoothly. So first, I stumbled upon an easier method for placing each section of tile. Rather than holding the tile above the desired area and lowering it into position, I began placing the section of tile on the row previously installed. As a result, I was able to slowly slide the tiles into place. Not only did this make it easier to achieve equal spacing, but it also was much more clean. I didn't have thin set oozing out as I did before. Similarly to installing the tile shower, a wet saw is an option for making the tile cuts, although we found it a little difficult with the tiles attached to the mesh backing. Alternately, you can use a tile cutter, and in our opinion, we found this a little bit easier to work with in this type of application. So first you'll begin by accurately marking the desired cut location, then line up the marks to the tile cutter and score each tile. You may also need to repeat scoring a time or two. After the tiles have been scored, press down on the handle to apply pressure to each tile. If it's properly scored, the tiles will snap and break on the scored line. After the tile has been cut, then you'll want to use a utility knife or scissors to cut through the mesh backing and remove the undesired pieces of the tile, and you're left with your nice clean edge. Now on to grouting. We used the same method to grout the Hexagon bathroom floor tiles as we did for the shower tile. So although these same steps were followed, you can refer to that video tutorial for more specific directions. But just to kind of recap the steps, 1, you'll need to gather your supplies needed ahead of time. 2, read your directions, because that's very important. 3, mix grout to the right consistency. 4, work in small sections at a time. 5, apply grout diagonally at a 45-degree angle. 6, periodically check for gaps or bubbles in the grout. 7, allow proper dry time. 8, wipe off extra grout with a wet sponge. 9, buff away remaining haze. And 10, in our case, we had to use a wet cloth to get rid of all of the excess grout and haze. And then we applied caulk at the edge of the tub and the tile.
Oh, we're tired.
We're exhausted.
Now we have a better appreciation of why professionals charge lots. Oh look, it looks good.
All right, we did it. We are so pleased with the way it turned out. Now, we are not professionals by any means, and we're just gonna show you a few things that we learned along the way, our mistakes that we made, things we wish we would have done differently, but we did it, and I think it looks
Yeah,
terrific.
more than anything, we just wanted to show you that anybody can do it. Just take your time, have your plan ready, and be ready to spend a long time working on it. But we hope you liked this tutorial. We hope you liked this final look. Stay tuned next week, next Thursday, for week 6 of the One Room Challenge. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and share, and subscribe to our channel if you have not already. We love having you here. Comment below, say hi, ask us questions. We love hearing from you.
And as always, here at Sunnyside Design, we hope to bring your home to the sunny side of the street.